How's it going out there? Welcome from H2TechVideos. Today we're going to be doing fears for beginners, and this is going to be a real basic video for you first time users, kind of teach you how to use it, some little basic tips and tricks that you may not know about. And we're going to start with just the buttons, just to make sure you guys have all the understanding around there. So first of all, we just very top here we have our power button. Now let me explain how this works. So when the phone is on, if we just tap it once, the phone will go to sleep, and we press it again, the phone wakes up, right? Well, if we hold down this button for a couple of seconds, we actually get a couple of other options here, which is this is how you actually turn the phone off. So you could just hit power off and the phone would totally shut off. You could also hit restart if you need it to restart itself, but don't take too long or the screen is going to dim on you. Let's turn it back on here, and one more time, hold down that button. We can airplane mode it. If you're hopping on a plane, you can tap airplane mode. It will shut off your data and your cellular signal, which is what you're supposed to do when you do get on a plane. And finally, you do have some options to put the phone on vibrate, or you can also turn all the sound totally off. So these are kind of your main three. If you want all the sound to be on and you want to be able to hear everything, we're going to go ahead and tap that one. So that's a little trick a lot of people don't know about, is simply just holding down that power button for about 1000 to 1000. You'll get these three options. The main thing is it's going to let you control your sound settings. This setting right here will completely put it on mute and you won't hear anything. Alright, we're going to hold it one more time. We're going to turn that sound right back on. Now, next thing we're going to do is we're going to unlock the phone. And to do that, you're simply going to put your finger on the lock. And you're just going to keep your finger on there and then drag it up the screen. And it will take you right into the phone. Now, some of you say, well, duh, I already knew that. Well, others didn't know. So I just try to make sure we're thorough when we go over everything. So from there, we have a few other buttons here on the side. These are our what are called volume rockers. And so we can just turn that volume all the way up. Or we can turn it down if we want the phone to not be so loud. If you keep going down, it will also put the phone into a vibrate mode. Just watch this. So the phone is still on, sound. We press it again. Now this is the vibrate signal. Press it again, and this is the completely sound totally off. So this is another way to get the phone into a vibrate or a mute setting, just by using the two volume buttons right here. Alright, so that's pretty much how those two work. There's not too much magic to that. Now, we have a couple other buttons at the bottom here. These are going to be your main buttons. Now, guess what? You don't see anything right now, but as soon as you tap, these buttons will light up. You have three here. We have what's called a back button, and they don't stay lit up, so we have to keep pressing them to get them to stay on. But the first one is the back button, which it points to the left because it's one step back. The middle one is your home button, and the third one is your recent apps button. So let me kind of explain how these work. So if I was to go into an app, let's say I go into the phone, okay, and I'm in the phone and I go to the call log. If I want to go back, I'm going to hit that back button, and it's going to take me one step out. So I was in the app and now it's taking me out of the app. Okay, if I go to the camera, same thing, I can go ahead and hit that back button and it will take me out of the camera. So it kind of takes you home. In certain apps, it will take you back steps. For example, if I go to the camera and then I go to the gallery, which is up here, go to the gallery, maybe there's no pictures in there right now. If I hit that back button, and it's going to take you right out, just like that. So sometimes this button is used to go back and forth when you're in an app, and other times it will just take you totally out of the app. Now here's our next thing. Let's say if I was to go to the Play Store, okay, and I'm in the Play Store and I say, you know what, I don't want to do this right now. I want to get back to my home screen. I would hit that center right here, which is the home symbol, and it'll take me right home. You see that? So any app that you're in, if you ever want to get back to this screen, all you have to do is hit that home button. If I go into contacts, which is right here, and then I hit home, it's going to always take me home. I know these two probably seem like they're the same thing, but they are a little different because, again, this one, I think I know a good example where we can show you how that one works. Let's go to our settings. And let's say we go to settings and then we went to security. Okay. Now I'm on the security page. Now if I want to go back one page, I can hit that back button and it'll take me back to this menu right here. So this is an example when that back button is going to take you back a step. Now if I hit it again, it's going to take me out of the app altogether. So just think of it like this. If I was to go here and then go to display, and then I went to brightness, I can hit this back button right here to get out of this first, and I can hit it again to go back one menu. And now that I'm on the main menu, if I press it again, it's going to take me out of the app. See that? So I just want to make sure you understand the distinction between the back button and the home button. Because that home button, whenever you press this, no matter what you're doing, it's going to take you out of the app. It always takes you here, which is your home screen. Okay? Now the third button we have here is called recent apps. And what recent apps are is any app that you've opened is now a recent app. So for example, if I just tap it, these are the last couple of apps we looked at. We opened the phone, the camera, the Play Store, people, settings. So all these apps are still running. Just because you go back home doesn't mean those apps close. They're still running in the background, so you could go back to them later if you chose to. Now here's what we want to do. Recent apps. Now maybe you say, well, I don't want these to run anymore. If you're done with these apps, then you actually have to go to recent apps, and then you just swipe across like that, and now these apps are actually closed. You have to physically close them. They don't close on their own. So now I'm going to swipe that, and I'm going to swipe that, but you may say, oh, I want to keep that open. I want to go back to that. I want to go back to my spot. And if so, you don't have to swipe that one out. You can even tap on it, and it will take you right to it. You see that? So now if we go to our recent apps, there's only going to be one app open, and that's our Play Store. So again, the whole point of recent apps is that there's certain apps that you may want to go back to later, and there's other apps that you may have opened it and now you're finished with it, and this is where you would go to close it out. So if I wanted to close this now, I would just swipe, and now it's totally closed. And if I go back to recent apps, there's nothing open. Everything is closed. What you don't want to happen is to have a ton of apps that are just sitting open that you're not using, because that will eventually slow down your phone. So that's why every now and then you want to check that recent app section and see what's running. Now again, just to demonstrate it, if I open up let's say if I open up Chrome, okay, Chrome is open, and now I'm going to go home. Now if I go to recent apps, guess what should be there? Chrome, right? See that? Because I just opened it. And now if I want to go back to Chrome, I can tap on it, and if I don't, I can go home, recent apps, and I can just swipe it away, and now Chrome is totally closed. Okay, the benefit of keeping an app in there is it'll save your spot. So if you're doing something in that app, it won't totally make you start over again. Okay, now there's a couple other things that these buttons do, and that's what I want to go over next. Just tapping them one time does certain things, but if you hold down on them, it actually activates different options as well. So again, I know it's a new concept because you can't actually see them, but you just have to know that they're there. So I always know if I just tap in the center, that home button is going to pop up right there. So you don't have to see it in order for it to work. It just has to, you just have to just tap in the center like that. Now if I actually hold down 1000, I open up what's called Google Now. And this is actually a really cool thing because it's more so a Google search is what it's going to take you to. So watch this. I can hold down on it, and then I can say, okay Google, search Laker games. You see that? And so just by you saying,
lost to the Kings 107-102. They are playing the Mavericks today at 7:30 p.m.
There it is. So just by holding down that home button, it automatically launches a Google search. And if you say, okay Google, then it'll start listening. You can ask it to search for certain things. So I'm going to try it again. Hold down. Good Chinese food restaurants. Oh, sorry. Now you see I'm talking. It's not listening because I haven't said the command yet. You have to say Google. Or you can say, okay Google, Chinese food restaurants.
Here are the listings for Chinese.
And then it'll actually search Chinese food restaurants in your area. So that's a really cool thing right there. So that's simply just by holding down on that home button, give it a 1000, 1000, it will launch right up. You'll say the command, okay Google. Oh, okay Google. What day is New Year's? It's a stupid question, right? And then I kept talking. So make sure after you say it, you stop talking, or it's going to continue to do that. All right, let's move on to the next part. So we know if we hold down on that home button, that's how we get to our quick Google search. Now the next thing we have is if we hold down on our recent apps, we actually get a menu option. So watch this. If I press it once, this comes up. If I hold it, I actually get a menu option. And this is a shortcut to get right to your settings. Now I can tap settings and get right to my settings menu. You see that? Simply by holding down on this, which is our recent apps. I'm going to hold down again. And there's our settings. You also have your wallpaper. So if you wanted to change what this background is, you just tap wallpaper and then you can take a picture, or you can pick from a different selection of pictures. You can also manage your apps as well. Now this button is useful in a couple of different areas. I want to go over that real quick too, because when you're in certain apps, you're not going to see an area where there's a menu, but to get to it, you're just going to hold down on there and that's going to take you to it. Let me show you in Chrome really quickly. We're going to go to Chrome, and if you notice right now, there's no menu buttons, because Chrome normally will let you save favorite websites. It'll let you do other certain options, but you don't see anywhere where there's a menu button. That's because on this phone, you actually have to hold down on that recent apps button, and that takes you to that special menu. Watch, I'm going to show you right now. You see that? We held down, and now this menu option, that menu is going to be different depending on what app you're opening. But the way I got to it was simply by pressing our recent apps. I'm going to go here again. I'm going to hold down. And now we have our star. So if we want to favorite a website, we can tap there. We can get to our bookmarks, history, our settings. All that is by holding down on that recent apps button. Now let me show you. I'm going to go to a totally different app so you can just see the transparency, how it'll be different. I'm going to go to Gmail. And there's no Gmail set up, so I'm not going to go to that one. I'm going to go to, let's go to the calendar. It's a good idea. So we're in the calendar, and we're going to press that same button. We're going to hold down on it on recent apps. And see that? Now we get all of our menu options. So you've got to get it into your head that when you're in an app, there are more things you can do to that app, but you have to hold down on that recent apps button, and that's what's going to get you there. That's what's going to give you those extra options. Okay, so all that is simply by just holding down the recent apps button. All right, so that's kind of the spiel on these three buttons. Those, we did take a little time going over that because these three buttons are the most important. You're going to be using those to do everything, so it's important that you really understand how they work. Now the next thing I'm going to go over, and this will probably wrap up the video right here, is what's called your notifications bar or panel. Now what you're going to do is you're going to just put your finger where this little speaker is at the very top and just slide down. This is called your notification panel, or yeah, this is, excuse me, notification panel. That's kind of the generic term, or just your notifications. Now, when you get emails, when apps need updates, when you get text messages, missed phone calls, you'll be able to see all those in this section. But if you use two fingers and you slide at this from the top, you get a different menu. You get your toggle switches. Now that's a fancy word for these are just different buttons that turn things on and off. So for example, you could turn on your airplane mode just by tapping like that. You could turn it off the same way. It'll show you what percentage of your battery. Right now we're at 91%. You can also turn on your Wi-Fi really quick just by tapping on Wi-Fi. You see that? You can also connect to a Bluetooth headset or Bluetooth speaker. You could just turn it on right there. See that? It makes a noise, so that's how you know when it's on and off. I'm not sure if the camera is showing it correctly, but when you turn it on, the icon does turn blue as well. Okay, you can also turn on your GPS. This is when you need to look up directions and you need to go places. You can also turn your data connection, which is your 4G. You can turn that on and off. When you turn that off, it actually does conserve your battery a little bit. So I don't always leave this on. I will turn it on off sometimes if I know I'm going to be somewhere for a long time and I want to make sure my battery lasts. You can also check your data usage to make sure you're not over for the month. And then you can also control your screen brightness. We tap on there. You can set it so that if it's on automatic means that it's going to use the light in the room and it might dim the screen, or you can put it on full blast. Remember, to get to that, you've got to use 2 fingers. You see that? If I only use 1 finger, I'm not going to see it. I've got to use 2 fingers. And that takes you to those special switches. And this is another important thing, is when your auto rotation. Now, auto rotation is when you turn the phone sideways, the phone is actually going to rotate with you. On the main screen, it doesn't do it though. So let's go into like Chrome or something. So watch, we're here. If we turn the phone sideways, it's going to rotate. But if we turn auto rotation off and we try to rotate it, the phone's not going to rotate. See that? And we're just going to turn that back on. And then at very last thing, at the upper right, you do have a shortcut. This is a shortcut to your settings menu. So if you tap on there, this will take us right to our settings. And here we can again turn our Wi-Fi on and off. We get more detailed options aside from what's in that toggle screen. So but that's about it, guys. These were just kind of like the really important things that you would need to know in order to operate this phone. Once you learn those things, everything else is going to be really easy. I'm going to do a couple other videos as well to kind of go over how to set up your email, go over how to get your apps and games, so definitely look out for those. I hope you guys did find this helpful. Make sure you like, favorite, and share the video if you did find it helpful. Subscribe to H2TechVideos, and make sure you also like us on Facebook, facebook.com/H2TechVideos. Take care and have a good one.